What's up, everyone? Kevin here from SkyWatcher. Welcome to another episode of the What's Up Webcast. We do this every Friday, 10 a.m. Pacific, right here at the SkyWatcher USA YouTube channel. We cover everything from what's up in the nighttime sky to equipment to helpful tips and tricks, and of course, everything else and in between. So it is Friday, January 16th, 2026. We have our State of SkyWatcher episode, which you guys really enjoyed last year. We try to do this annually in January, so you can kind of talk to some of our team. Of course, you guys know Alex. We have him on for Tech Talk once a quarter, but today it is myself, Jeff Simon, the director, and Jared Donkersley of marketing. So I'll bring them in just a second. Real quick, if you like what you see here, please go ahead and subscribe, leave a like on the channel, YouTube-y stuff. But real quick, if you want to support the channel even more, you can head over to skywatcher.threadless.com and pick up some cool swag over there. And if you really want to help us out and support us, you can head over to our website and buy equipment. Hooray! Or your favorite dealer. Pick wherever you'd like to go. So I'm not going to waste much more time on this. I'm going to go ahead and bring Jeff and Jared in. If you have any questions, this is the episode to ask. We'll be as transparent as absolutely possible. Anything that doesn't affect an NDA, essentially. So, all right. So we're going to get this thing started. Here we go. Hi, everyone.
Hello.
There's Jeff and Jared. Some of you have met them at trade shows before. So let me actually go to full screen. There we go. Now we're all full screen now. So for those of you who don't know, Jeff Simon is the director of SkyWatcher North America. Down at the bottom is Jared Donkersley of marketing. And if you ever email us or asking for stuff, it generally goes through Jared. And then there's me, Kevin. So let's get this started. I'm probably going to hand it off to Jeff since he's the boss. And so Jeff, how do you think 2025 went?
Given how 2025 started, I think 2025 went as well or better than we could have hoped. I don't know, a lot's been going on. So let me just recap briefly. There was tariffs, potentially 125 to 175% tariffs when we were at NEAF last year. We were still dealing with that. We are a Chinese company, even though SkyWatcher North America is here in North America, servicing North America. We are owned by the factory in China that builds the SkyWatcher products. So any of the tariffs or political moves against China were going to affect us somehow. We did see a hit in sales, but it was a hit in sales that we anticipated. Our sales department did an amazing job of anticipating what needs that we would have for the rest of the year. We got orders in that basically served us for the rest of the year. When the tariffs went back to 20%, there were some price increases, not just with us, but with everybody in the industry. And that's, so like I said, we've been taking a small hit as far as percentage of sales, but nothing that we didn't anticipate given the situation. Nothing bad enough that there will be wholesale layoffs or anything like that. It's pretty much business as usual. And if you want to know what's going to happen this year with tariffs, my best advice is call your congressperson, call your senators, and put pressure on them, because we have no influence on that. I am looking forward to seeing how the companies that are suing the government over whether or not the tariffs are legal, how that plays out. And even if the Supreme Court says, nah, you can't do that, government, you give everybody's money back, it's going to take at a minimum weeks, if not many months, for that to straighten itself out. So how it is right now is probably how it's going to be for at least a number of months. So not horrible, not the best it could be, but not horrible. So I'm happy.
Yeah. How about you, Jared? How was 2025 from your perspective?
Well, in terms of the layoff and the ta tariffs and all that kind of stuff, it was pretty spooky at the beginning and really kind of just hung out like a dark cloud and didn't really get too bad. So I was very pleased with that outcome. I think for me, this whole year has been a lot of outreach with the national parks, which was a lot of fun. I got to basically truck the Helio Star around the Southwest and show that off for most of the year. So, you know, doing outreach during the day as well as night just really, like we say, it just kind of opens up the rest, like half the hobby basically. And with the performance at the Helio Star, it was just a lot of fun being with a lot of amateurs who knew nothing about solar, nothing about H alpha, and with a lot, there'd be like a string of other folks with white light and H alpha scopes at some of these events, and watching each one of them come up and take a look through and go, I really wasn't planning on investing in more solar, but okay, I guess I will. So that was very edifying and a lot of fun. Went out on a lot of these camping trips with my girlfriend Allie. She had some of her first camp experiences, so that was a lot of fun. And just doing that night sky stuff that we do. The trip to Sequoia was really cool because I had a whole kind of weekend. There was a JWST documentary at a theater in Visalia. It was really amazing. They had a lot of the social media team down there, and we got to hang out with some of the folks from Sequoia Parks Conservancy, which kind of had a similar feel to the Grand Canyon folks at their conservancy. And that trip that we did was another blast with the night vision and all the toys playing around at the canyon. Really hoping to get back to that one again this year. Bum that we missed Ontario Starfest, and then just kind of more 2026, but getting over to AAS was a lot of fun right after the holidays too.
Ontario Starfest was not our fault. We were absolutely prepped to be there. That was part of the dumpster fire that was 2025 with the Air Canada strike, which I I'm a big union advocate. My dad belonged to the IBEW, International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers. They took very good care of our family growing up. So yeah, treat your workers well. But it did throw a wrench in going to Ontario, which we really look forward to. It's the one event we get to do every year in Canada, and I don't like the idea of not visiting one of the countries that we're North America, so it's Canada, USA, and Mexico. So it's 30% of our territory. If you're only looking at a list of how many we have, if you look at it at square miles, it's like, damn. So,
We have a lot of good friends up in Canada as well
yeah,
that we like to see, and a lot of them go to Starfest. So not being able to see them, especially right now, because a lot of them are not coming to the U.S. for various reasons that we're not getting into today. But it's sad not to be able to see some of our Canadian friends that do go to that event. So.
well, and it is the one place where we get to have all dressed chips, all
Yes.
year. So I mean, forget seeing all your friends. It's the potato chip flavors they don't have in the U.S. that make it
Yes.
worthwhile.
Whoa. There's a question here. I guess I'll address it. Good morning. Will the blanket scope make a cameo at NEAF this year? The blanket scope is no more. It will never see the light of day.
I would like to amend that statement. There are many blanket scopes and many blanket mounts. The blanket, I would like to say, is a category for just everything that we're working on, and we're always working on something. So
Yeah.
yes, there will be blanket category things, but the blanket scope. Do we even want to say what the blanket scope
I
was?
can't.
Okay.
No.
The real
So
blanket scope was the friends we made along the way.
straight from marketing right there.
Well, we did kind of have, I mean, at AAS we had a was that the Clark Refractor that was under the blanket for a minute?
It was in its little. It was in its 5 foot travel bag, but yeah. So,
It was
uh,
technically, I think, under a Mexican blanket for a bit, so that
oh,
was
that one. That was a different one. That
So
was a different
technically, it
scope.
was a blanket scope.
Yes. Um, as far as like what we're working on and blanket scopes in general, if you come to NEAF this year, I think you will be really surprised what is there because NEAF is going to be insane for
Well,
SkyWatcher.
and this is a perfect segue. We talked about what we want to discuss this morning ahead of time. In case you, our audience, do not come up with enough questions to fill the hour, although I believe that you will. I have faith in you. So Kevin, he's like, no, they're not going to ask us questions. He doesn't have faith in you. I have faith in you. So go ahead and crank out those questions. But we can't really talk about the new products that are going to be at NEAF this year, but I would like to spend a moment talking about what we did bring out this year. When we're talking about 2025 again and all of the things that were wrong with 2025, one of the things that were right, even with the tariffs, even with all of the other things that were going on in the business environment, in the economic environment, we brought out the EQ-AL55i, that is basically the replacement for the EQ-M35. It is selling very well. Surprisingly well. The wave mounts. This was really the first full year that we've had the wave mounts out there, which I think internally we call it the Swiss Army knife mount. I had opinions about it ahead of time. We've talked about this in a couple other episodes about how my opinion has changed about the wave mounts or just strain wave mounts in general since we first heard about them. And at first it was like, well, they're great for if you've got a small payload but you're paying a lot of money for this one thing. And then once you get larger and then you have to add the counterweights and then you have to add larger tripods, then all of a sudden the advantage of having a high torque small mount kind of goes away, and now it's just an expensive mount. But you can take that same mount that you use as your star party mount, where you've got your carbon fiber tripod and you don't need counterweights because it's a small payload. And that's the one that you throw in the back of your car and you drive out to the nearest star party and you put it out in the field and take some images and do whatever. But that same mount, especially like the Wave 150, you can take that home, throw the carbon fiber tripod in the garage, pull out either your pier or your giant field tripod, put this mount on it, put the counterweight kit on it, and put a large payload on it, and it still functions just as well. So you have one mount that covers 85% of your needs, which is why I call it the Swiss Army knife mount. So I don't think that, particularly now, it's not going to supplant the traditional EQ mounts, but I think we're going to see it. I would not be surprised to see it become the standard over the next number of years. And then besides, the Heliostar came out this year, so that is our first entry into the H Alpha, the Sirius solar imaging and viewing. They're incredible. I have one on one of our solar quests, and we've talked about this before too. If I can use one of our products, this is the litmus test. If I can use it, anybody can use it because I am not technically good. uh,
Yeah, we were talking about it at AAS, and we were basically giving that spiel to someone, and Kevin came up with the tagline, "If you can press a button, you can work the Solar Quest."
yeah.
It's literally all it is.
Well, and I told this story before when we went to Ontario Starfest one time. It was just me and Jared, and we were setting up something, and the Solar Quest was in the way. So I picked it up and moved it aside. In moving it aside, I accidentally turned on the button, hit the on button, and left it alone because I don't remember what we were setting up. Some like chairs and pop-ups and whatever. And when I went back to grab the Solar Quest. It had been maybe 5-6 minutes, maybe. This was before the Heliostar. We had a white light tube on it.
Yeah, we had that prototype on there.
Yeah, so it had leveled itself, found the sun, and was tracking, and the sun was smack dab in the middle of the view, and all I had done was accidentally turn it on. So thumbs up for the Solar Quest and the Heliostar, and then finally the Hack 125DX, which is it's one of those. It started out weird and has become. Kevin, what do you think of the Hack 125DX? You're our imaging guru.
It's a fun little scope. It obviously has its quirks. It's an oddball little thing. But I've seen some really good images coming in from it from people out there. And they actually, ZWO just announced the new 676 monochrome camera, which is a tiny little square, uncooled camera. The one-shot color is really good, but now they have a monochrome version, which would be awesome for the HACs if you want to do monochrome work. So if you're willing to work with its idiosyncrasies, which, to be fair, every telescope has its idiosyncrasies, and you just have to kind of figure out how that works in your lineup and your needs. So I think for a lot of people, the HAC works out really well. For others, it might not be what you need, but just pay attention to its specs and figure out, does this fit what you need? And I've seen a lot of people making some really cool stuff out of it. So
I'm excited to see what you and or Alex can do with the one-shot color and luminance setup,
yeah,
the dual array.
dual imaging.
And we had the 4 array set up at AAS for this year, 2026, and that was a big conversation starter.
Yeah, I was going to ask Kevin, do you have a picture of the quad setup that was a WA?
I don't. Maybe Jared does, but
we'll see if we can find one. It looks like an anti.
It is on our social medias. I think Jared posted some of that from the AAS show.
Yeah.
If you go on our Instagram, I think it's still up there. So
let's see. There's a couple questions. One of them is what was the best-selling product of 2025? That is a very good question. I don't know which one was the best. I'd have to go take a look, but I can tell you some of the top 5 sellers. The Wave 150 has definitely, the EQ6R has, ever since we introduced it, has been the best seller. That has come down a little bit because the Wave 150 mount has been taking some of those sales, which I am fine with. I mean, it's basically, we've got this much on each side. It says which one's selling more. I think over time we'll see the Wave continue to increase that market share and the EQ6R come down a little bit as the strain waves take over for the traditional EQ mounts. But I don't think the EQ6R is going anywhere anytime soon. The Star Adventurers, the 2i, the Pro Pack, and the Star Adventure GTIs, we haven't done a lot this year to promote either of those, but they have sold. They're always selling, continuously selling. And along those lines, next week, Kevin's the webcast next week, the topic is hidden gems, products that nobody talks about that should be talked about. And we will be talking about some of our products. And when I say we, I mean Kevin. We'll be talking about some of our products, but also not just our products. There's some really good products out there that need some love. So we're going to spread it around.
There'll be a couple surprising ones that I think people kind of scoff at, and I'll talk about that because some of the things that are going to be in there, I'm not really talking about the entire setup. I'm just talking about like the telescope in particular. Because there's a few things that are going to be in there where it's like, I don't like this, but this is actually pretty good. So
yeah, and
also just speaking of products, the always kind of not really the most glamorous, but the Heritage and the Virtuosos, those are always really, really big sellers, which is cool to see just because they're a little bit more of our intro scopes.
Well, and
Yeah.
that's another one, where I was talking about not giving a lot of love marketing wise to the Star Adventurer 2i and the Star Adventurer Pro Pack. The Heritage, particularly the Heritage, goes crazy during the holidays, which is not surprising. It's a perfect beginner scope. It's small. It's still got serious aperture, and same thing with the Virtuosos. Tabletop, compact, relatively inexpensive, but so the difference is between, do you want to do it the old school way of learning the sky, where you star hop manually to figure out where everything is? There's your Heritage. Or if you're a lazier person like myself and want to go the virtuoso route and just do the go-to and take me ah uh Alex put the 4x4 in the chat, the team's chat, if somebody wants to, Kevin, if you can pull that up.
Yeah, I put
Anyway,
the link to it in the YouTube chat.
okay, perfect. So yeah, those are some big sellers. Along those lines,
Let
somebody
me
was
cover you guys up
asking.
real quick. There's the
Okay,
quad, HAC quad arrangement. We're planning on having that at NEAF, by the way. But yeah, 4 HACs on a Wave 100 with 2 of the Los Mondi tandem plates, which we actually have to order our own because that was my plate and Alex's plate. So if we want to redo that, we'll have to get some. But that would be an interesting setup for some people. So that's the quad array right there. So let me make that go away. And there's Jeff and Jared again.
And I'm actually, somebody was asking, are there a lot of, I'm looking in the wrong place. Canadian sales. What are the Canadian sales? Can I let's see. Canada is about 10% of our total sales. I think we can do better in Canada. Um, not it's not that we haven't been paying attention or that we don't know that Canada's there. We absolutely do. We just haven't had the bandwidth to do everything that we want to do, and part of that is outreach to the Canadian market more. When Sky News went away, it made it more difficult just to, in general, the passive reaching out to the Canadian market. So we are looking for other ways. I mean, there's Trevor. We have relationships with Canadian influencers, so hey.
It's also snowing at Trevor's house right now. They're buried under it. And I saw on their Instagram the other day. So they're not doing much. Hi, Trevor and Ash.
And just for the record, I do have a grandmother that was born in Ontario. So I do have family connections to the Great White North. So.
We have a lot of good
Well, and
dealers up there, though.
up near oh, what's the island? Over by British Columbia. There's actually a strain of I'm trying to remember the
Vancouver
island
Island in
name though.
Victoria.
There you go. I think it's Vancouver
Yeah,
Island.
Victoria. Yeah.
There's actually a strain of Donkersleys that made their way up there, and there is a beach and I believe a small river, Donkersley Beach and river up there that I need to go visit. So I have some blood ties to the north as well.
Okay, there are other questions in here, but this one I just saw pop up. I bought the EQ-AL55i to use with my DSLR. What telescope and camera would you recommend for deep space objects, Kevin?
EQAL55i, it's a 22-pound payload limit equatorial. So with that being said, you're going to be sticking with like the smaller refractors most likely. 50, 60, 70, maybe an 80. I have seen people go larger than that if you need to, but just keep in mind it is a small mount. The gearing is small, so real short refractors. As far as cameras go, if you're doing particularly on a budget level, anything with a 585 sensor in it is pretty good. If you want to go bigger than that, you do have the 533, which is quite popular. After that, then you're getting into the bigger, more expensive cameras like a 571 sensor, which is like ZWO 2600. And then if you really want to spend some money, you go up to the 455 based cameras, which is like QHY 600, ZWO 6200. So big, expensive cameras, which that mount can easily handle. It just depends on the optic you're putting it on. You could also use like an HAC 125DX would be a nice fit, or like a C6 Hyperstar would work well, but small stuff. So I'd probably keep your tube under 10 pounds. That way you can allow for accessories and stuff like that without breaking that 22-pound payload. But smaller optics is what you'd go for that one.
Here is another.
Speaking of accessories, there's another question.
Yeah, I
Wondering
was
if we're
just
going to
mentioning
get
that one.
into,
Yeah, is SkyWatcher
was it
planning on
EIFs
diving?
and
Yeah, is SkyWatcher planning on diving into the accessory world like
EAFs and filter wheels. Nothing on the drawing board right now as far as those accessories go. For imaging accessories like motor focusers and camera accessories, it's really just better to let the camera companies handle that, because they are able to design accessories that fit with their equipment. We could do it. I'm sure our factory could come up with it. Our engineers are fantastic over there, but our specialty is optics and mounts. So that's where we tend to put most of our focus on it.
Oh, I wanted to go back to what was the best-selling product. It depends. I mean, right now we have kind of morphed from an OTA. Actually, what we started out on when Kevin and I first started 13 years ago, something like that.
Somewhere in there.
The big thing that SkyWatcher was selling in the US were Dobbs. And we still sell Dobbs. We still sell a lot of Dobbs. But somehow through all of that, we morphed into a mount company between the EQ6s and the EQ M35s and the AZ EQ series and the Star Adventures. Everything mount is it's become our biggest category. This last year, we didn't have any refractors, which was a problem. That's another question that we had here about the
EvoStar update.
Yeah, somebody was asking. I heard there's going to be an EvoStar update, so I will leave that to you, Kevin, to answer. But we will be back into the refractor market starting very soon. If you want to show up at NEAF, you may see something. How would you like to respond to this, Kevin? Kevin.
Come to NEAF and we'll be happy to show you the new EvoStars EDX. It's the EvoStar EDX series. If you do a little digging, you could already probably find them. Some people might wonder, well, why do I see stuff on these different regions and not here? Each region is handled a little bit differently. They have their own management team, and we do talk with one another. But everybody's sales are different. The way they go about distributing is a little bit different. How they handle their own sales and what their inventory looks like is different. So as much as we would like to be completely unified across the entire globe, we can't align everybody's release of a product to be uniform, but we try to get it close. So here in North America, I would probably say our setup of new products is a bit clunky in comparison, and there's a lot more steps, and we tend to be very careful about what we release here in North America because there's a lot of competition to go along with, so we need to be very strategic of what we offer here. Now, that's not to say any of our other friends in Europe or the UK or Australia, we talk to all of them. It just kind of what works for them at the time, but we are in conjunction with one another, speaking with one another, and we try to be very close to releases, but it's never as tight as we would like it to be. But yes, if you're going to be at NEAF, the EvoStar EDX series will be part of it. A lot of other stuff there. There's a couple things there that no one knows about just yet. So come to NEAF. There's new stuff coming. But the EvoStars are quite nice. I have all of them right now for testing purposes. So
yeah, and the part about getting all of the different distributors worldwide working together, it is it is the best example of herding cats that I have seen. we're all trying to get in the same places, just trying to get everybody on the same schedule, and everything takes some coordination. So we're working on it. That said, all of the other distributors worldwide, we have to meet with them every couple of years. We all get together, sit down, talk about what issues we're having, what's working, what's not working, so that we can work better together. And they're all great. I mean, it's fun being part of a community as opposed to a corporation. I mean, we're all part of the same corporation, but because we're kind of our own thing, we're forced to be cooperative if we want it to work. So it's kind of it's a I've been in a couple different corporate environments, and it's like, oh my God, those are soul crushing. This is a little different. So
there's a big question in here. I just want to help the guy out. It says, I'm new to astrophotography. It seems like most entry rigs that image nebulae shoot for 250 to 400 millimeter focal length, but how rigs get there differently, 50 versus 70 versus 90 with reducers and RASAs. That's a really big question. So I would recommend, actually, right off the top of my head, I'd recommend calling our friends at Star Arizona, because they deal with really fast optics. I mean, you could call any dealer you want. There's High Point's really got a great team over there. You got Woodland Hills, Star Arizona's awesome. There's a lot of good ones. Star Arizona's just local, so I like to fly the flag if I can.
I'm going to interrupt for just a split second as you're talking about our dealers and things. If you consumers out there, if you have a chance to order through a dealer instead of just some online
big box,
I love Amazon. I get Amazon packages pretty much on an every other day kind of thing, which my wife hates, because I don't know if you can tell, all these bookcases are full, but I love me some books. So I'm gonna, like, when I die, it's gonna be a hoarder situation. That's like columns of books. But that being said, please support your local brick and mortar astro shop. They help provide support. They help provide information. They are an incredible resource. So do yourself a favor, give yourself that extra layer of support. We pride ourselves at SkyWatcher on the support that we provide, but if you've got somebody that's local that you can walk into, that you can talk to face, give yourself that opportunity. It can only help you that much more.
Yeah.
Well, and that's something that's, I mean, it's been going away for years and years now, but especially with a hobby like astrophotography. I remember when I was first getting started, someone just said it's so much easier if you can just be in a room with someone and they can like point to the thing and show you how it connects to the thing and plugs in there, where, there's tons of tutorials on YouTube, but being able to actually walk into a shop is a whole different thing.
Yeah. So find a good spot, find a good set of people to help you out. But as far as your question goes, we could be here. I could do a whole episode on just that topic. Your field of view, shorter focal lengths tend to be good, but it also is going to be ultimately decided by how big of a sensor you're using, because the sensor is going to be your real estate that your optics illuminate. So 250 to 400, those are pretty short, but a big chunk of field of view. I tend to prefer 500 to 1,000 with a larger sensor, and aperture isn't really the king when it comes to imaging, because you can always take a longer exposure or more exposures, but it gives you more resolving power for finer details. If you really have some time before you dump a bunch of money in it, go get the Backyard Astronomer's Guide. It's a really good book, and it's a good crash course. They came out with a more modernized version, which I don't have on hand yet. It's worth having just as reference. But you could speak to a club, you could figure out a dealer, but the question is deep. There's a lot to discuss in that few lines of text. So I would say do some of your own research. And if you have questions, you can either call us and talk to Alex, because he does imaging as well, or pick a dealer that you'd like to talk to. But pick someone who really has people on staff that do astrophotography. It'll be a lot easier. So sorry, I couldn't elaborate more on that.
No, and now I like this one. How is it to work at SkyWatcher? Some see it as a dream job to be surrounded by cool gear all day. Are you guys hiring a finance guy? We're not hiring a finance guy. Oh, and there was something else about people. Anyway, are we adding anybody to the SkyWatcher team? So I'm going to let you guys answer for yourselves how it is to work for SkyWatcher, but I'm going to jump in first to answer are we going to be adding anybody? Probably not. The number of people that we have is directly correlated to the amount of sales. Currently, sales are down, so we would love to have a couple other people. I have a bunch of projects that have been on the back burner for years, waiting for us to have the bandwidth to kick them in. Jared's aware, Kevin's aware. We are eager to have more people so that we can reach out to more people and get more exposure. And I will keep pitching that we deserve more people because we do. Okay, so that part, working for SkyWatch. You know what? You guys talk about it first. I don't want to taint this. I will talk about what it's like managing SkyWatch in North America. When you're done, talk about how wonderful it is working for me. Go ahead.
Um, I mean, a little bit of a dream job, I would say. I got into this hobby maybe 15 years ago, no clue what I was gonna do. I kind of was hoping to wind up, kind of doing some more like outdoor stuff, maybe with parks, and then I wound up at Celestron for about a year and a half, then fell into Griffith, and I've been there doing outreach since 2017. So I've kind of had like my hands kind of a little bit all over the industry, and then wound up here at Skywatcher in 2021. And I'd say the day to day between the creativity that I get to use on the website and social media with our e-blast, stuff like that, and then balancing that with the actual playing around with the gear in the studio and doing all the photo shoots and just being in the warehouse and hanging out with the warehouse team and basically being in that big like Indiana Jones end of Raiders of the Last Ark scene, just walking through all the big boxes in there. And then really when you balance it all out with doing the outreach, especially at national parks and some of the trade shows,
I need
it's
to throw
pretty
this in
awesome.
here before we get a nerd riot. It is the Lost Ark, not the Last Ark.
Oh, right. I was thinking Last Crusade.
Yeah, which great movie. I would have ended it differently. I have notes. Okay.
My turn. It was my turn.
Last Crusade, I would have ended differently. Lost Ark, fine as it is.
Yeah.
Did you have? All right, Jared. Do you have more?
No, I think that's about it.
Okay. Kevin, you have been here the longest. You have just 1 month less than I have. So if anybody has opinions about it, you do.
This job is amazing. They take great care of me and would never do it. No, I'm just kidding.
Kevin
Is he
gets a
blinking
big
Morse
thumbs.
code in there?
No, working here is a lot of fun. I have a really good team of people here and a really good team of engineers at the factory that we get to see every now and again. But it's a pretty solid team. We have a lot of fun with each other. And we do kind of bounce off of each other. I kind of see it as a machine. Everyone is a very important cog in the whole thing. So like if Jared wasn't here, it would screw up some stuff. If Jeff wasn't here, it would screw up other stuff. If Alex wasn't here, it would screw up these things. So it's this very delicate system that's rolling all together, and we have a really finely tuned machine. And even the people you never hear about behind the scenes, they're just as important to the whole thing. So, but I like working here. I like that I have the freedom to do my job because I hate being micromanaged, especially because you're paying me to do a job. So why would you micromanage? So, But I would say for those who it's like, it's a dream job, there are days I will let you know that it's a job. There are days where it's this SKU isn't this and this box isn't that and this problem is here, and you having to figure all of that out with a lot of other opinions in the mix. But if I boiled it all down, it's a lot of fun to work here. It's a lot of fun to be able to play with telescopes all the time and new ones all the time. But when you are dealing with problems, just like any other job, there's problems, there's people, there's emotions, there's all of that. But I love my job. I'm very fortunate to have my job. And I would also like to say we wouldn't have our jobs unless it was for you guys buying this stuff. So really appreciate all of that. And it is a lot of fun to be able to go out to events and actually meet you guys, because I love being a part of the community. I know Jared and Jeff like being a part of it. At the end of the day, we're all nerds too. And we love just gushing over whatever it is. Jeff's a Trekkie. Jared's into all kinds of cultural stuff. I'm into telescopes and far too many other expensive hobbies. Alex is a photographer, a guitarist. So is Jared, actually. So we all have this really elaborate web of interest, and we can really kind of we're just like all of you. We love what we do. We love our hobbies. And if we find someone to share it with, sit down, because it's going to be a while. So
Speaking of guitarists, we still got to do that musicians and Astro webcast.
Yeah, we got to put that together.
Yes. Actually,
with Brian May as a lead moderator.
Well, I'm still waiting for you guys, to get everybody together and do a jam session at Neath or something. I mean, we came close at Ontario Starfest, and I think we should probably try that again. But unfortunately, I do not play an instrument, but if somebody brings a tambourine, I can beat the hell out of one of those with the best of them. So
the triangle. Bing.
Oh, cowbell.
Yeah, I was going to say, Jeff would be cowbell. Just...
Yeah, I can rock it.
It's not a 4/4 count, Jeff.
Doesn't matter. I'm just gonna beat the hell out of it no matter what. Okay, so for me, this job, and agreed, there are days in any job, doesn't matter what job it is, there's a reason they pay you to do it, because not every day is unicorns and flowers. Some days it's drama and egos and just... I have come to love doing purchasing spreadsheets, though, because the going in and going SKU by SKU, where we are with inventory and how it's selling and where it's moving, that gives me a very tactile, week by week, what are we doing? What is selling? What's the market? Which is important. It's along those same lines. Whenever, like when Kevin got hired, when Jared got hired, when other of our people that we've had and have gone on to other things got hired, one of the very first things I make sure that they do is go to a star party. The very next star party that's available, that's what you go to. Not a trade show, a star party in the fields at night with the astronomers, because those you can't market to, you can't design for, you can't understand our market unless you know the people in it. And I want that understanding to happen sooner rather than later, so you know why we're doing what we're doing. So that's just a general overall. For myself personally, I've been really lucky I've had 3 or 4 careers in my time, and each one of them I feel has been a little higher calling than just doing retail or, just a job. As these guys are aware and are probably tired of hearing, one of my very first jobs was in a bookstore, and I feel that as far as I know,
which bookstore?
Which one? B. Dalton Bookseller. Thank you very much. But as and I know I talked about...
No, Jared, don't. So
but I learned a lot there.
Bird is the word.
Okay, fun. Make fun. But one of the things about it is, as far as retail go, there's a lot of different things you could sell. Books, in my estimation, are one of those things that raises society up. So I was doing more than just selling books. You sell ideas, you sell possibilities. It's like
Yeah.
books are amazing things. The written word is an amazing thing. I it's hard to anyway, that there was that job. From that job I went on to I worked in an emergency room for a number of years in surgery and emergency. Again, it's a job, but a different kind of job where the feeling every day when you went in is you were doing something important. You were potentially saving somebody's life, or you were dealing with somebody in a moment that was probably one of the worst moments of their week, month, or year, depending on just how bad the emergency was. And it was my job, along with the rest of the team. There's never been a job I worked in that it wasn't part of a team. And that is important with this job as well. But anyway, so in that in that job, again, it felt more important than just showing up for a job. It's like I was there for a reason bigger than. In this job, it's telescopes. How important can it be? It's more than telescopes. We are selling science. We are selling a way of thinking that is different than the aluminum hat conspiracy theory type of thing. This is science is science. Science is white papers. Science is peer review. Science is reproducible results. So even though and in my position here, I'm mostly marketing. I'm not an astronomer. I'm a marketing person, but I get to come up with ideas. I get to come up with ideas for products that I sketch out and send to the factory. And occasionally they go, "Ooh, that's a great idea. Let's work on that." Kevin knows what we're talking. I mean, we've been doing that since the very beginning. Why? I wonder why we're not doing this. We should send them an idea. Let's do this. But every time we go out to a trade show, every time we go out to a star party, particularly to the star parties, and interacting with the other astronomers, we are talking to people that understand that the universe is more than what you read in the newspaper, what you see on television. So it has been my pleasure throughout my life to work in jobs that have felt like more than jobs. So yes, it is kind of a dream. And yes, the team that we work with here, not just Jared and Kevin and Alex, the ones that you guys see, but there is an entire support staff. There's finance and shipping and dealer support and customer support and everybody else back there that don't get any time in front of the rest of you, that deserve as much, if not more, credit than what we're doing. Because they're like, especially in the warehouse, they're the ones that do the literal heavy lifting that makes this job possible.
So, yeah, our warehouse team, I don't think they watch this, but they should. Our warehouse team is amazing. They wouldn't, you wouldn't get your stuff. We wouldn't be doing this. Like, yeah, we made fancy stuff and all that great things, but if that doesn't go to where it's supposed to go, it's irrelevant. So they are like the heart that makes the whole thing move. So big shout out to the whole team.
Yeah, and let me throw out a little more specific love to the finance team that balances, looks at the sales, looks at the expenses, looks at everything, and makes sure that we all have a job and that we can afford to get paid even when we have downturns because of tariffs or inflation or what have you. This has been a very steady job for a very long time through a lot of rough seas. So finance is doing their job. Sales out there talking to the dealers, talking to with AI and online sales and China direct companies and everything else. The fact that we're still alive and that we're still keeping dealers alive is a day-to-day effort. And sales is doing that. And operations, day after day after day, there's new things being thrown at them with regulations and certifications and compliance and what have you, and they deal with all of it. So we have a team. We have a great team. And I really, really, really enjoy my job. And I really enjoy, I tell these guys all the time, how much I enjoy working with them. Not so much that I still don't want to get paid for it, but still. So all of you out there that are a little jealous that we have these jobs, you should be. It's a great job. And keep asking if we have openings, because someday we will, and we'll be looking for somebody to mesh with the rest of the team. So
Well, and someone mentioned opportunities, especially for younger people, in terms of, I'm just assuming that might dovetail into online stuff and influencers and all that. You can always email us at info@skywatchusa.com, and that'll reach any one of us. And, there's always possibilities. I get a lot of stuff because we control the international social media. So I get a lot of requests from folks that are in the Philippines or in Brazil or whatever, and we can't, that's just not our area, and we can't support that. But we're always looking to, make
well,
common cause.
sometimes,
And
but for influencers in those areas, we anything outside of our region, we can't support brick and mortar dealers, that kind of thing. But what we can do is send samples of new products and stuff to influencers in other regions. So like Quib, we've sent him a couple things. I mean, he's in Japan. He's not
Mhm.
in our region, but
We
we'll
do what
send,
we can when we
yeah,
can. So.
yeah, because global awareness only helps us in our region too. So we do what we can that's not stepping on the toes of other distributors. Um, so yeah. Uh,
There's a couple questions. I think I'm just going to fire through them really quick.
well, but should we expect prices to go up more in 2026 for astronomical products? I don't think so. I think the tariffs, I don't think anything's going to happen with tariffs. There's the Supreme Court ruling is going to be coming up soon. Like I said earlier, that may have some effect at some point. Even if it comes down and says, tariffs are illegal, give everybody their money back, blah, 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 that's going to cause a lot of uproar in the market. But we have been very good in absorbing as much of that as we can and keeping it fairly calm. That, like I was talking about before, sales and operations and everybody doing their part to keep it as steady as possible. And I think that's going to continue.
No one wants to raise prices in this
raised our prices a
industry.
little bit when the tariffs kicked in. We had to. Everybody did across the board, and we will. I don't hold me to this. This is just speculation, but I am hoping the prices come down a little bit by the end of 2026. I know that's just a feeling. I have nothing besides that to go on. So, all right, you said you saw some other ones.
Yeah, any visual accessories like eyepieces or filters. Yeah, we're looking into some stuff. I don't have anything to really elaborate on at this point. With smart telescopes gaining ground, would SkyWatcher be looking to enter the market with its own? Would be really cool.
No, absolutely not.
I hope we have something, but I have nothing to elaborate on that either. Any products that will be discontinued in 2025. We keep a list of products. If upper management comes in, it's like you got to kill some stuff. We keep an eye on that. I don't have anything firm that, yes, this is going away. But so nothing that I can really state is a problem at the moment. So.
Wait, I would like to throw some. So they're still waiting for the SkyWatcher, Sea Star, and Dwarf competition to be introduced. Okay, so I was joking, obviously, when I said no, we're not working on smart stuff. We are, but coming out with a direct competitor to Sea Star or Origin or something like that, it's already been done, and that market's been tapped. There's still people. If we're going to do something like that, it needs to be different in some significant regard. So if you do see something from us this year, it's not. I wouldn't anticipate a straight up. Here's the Sky Star, because it's the Sea Star comparison or whatever. It's there are some features that we've all talked about, that we have submitted to the factory and said, please, if you're going to do it and not do it with these, just don't do it. So, so we'll see. I am very optimistic that the engineers are working on something. We know they're working on something, and we've got some feedback. I am optimistic that what they come out with is going to be significantly different enough from what's out there to make it its own product, even within that category. So it's just a matter of making all the pieces come together and make them work, because we're not going to release, as you guys have seen in the past, like with the Hack 125 before it was the DX, that was released early. We knew it was released early, and that's why we didn't bring it into the U.S. market. When they fixed it, I believe my phrase was, we'll bring it into the U.S. market when they take all the stupid out of it. When they took all the stupid out of it, we released it as the DX, and now it works really well. So same thing with the SkyWatcher Smart Scope. As long as there's still stupid in it, we're not going to bring it in. But once all the stupid is out of it, then we will bring. Generally, most of our products don't start out with stupid in it, just to be fair. So.
How would you describe the relationship SkyWatcher has with other companies in the industry? We're friends with a lot of people. Good friends with Stellar View. The crew at Astrophysics are really good friends of mine, or ours actually. I'm sorry. Starlight Express we're good friends with. We've known people at Lunt, Los Mondi,
Explore Scientific.
Explore Scientific.
When I worked at Meade, one of the first people I worked on a big project with was Scott Roberts. He's one of my favorite people.
I can't actually think of anybody, especially now. The list would be way shorter for people we don't like, and I can't think of anybody at the moment. So
no, I mean, like the people at ZWO, we haven't really spent a lot of time talking to them, but we've talked to them. We're at the same show. We were just at AAS, and they were there. So I mean,
no, I know.
I mean, how do you be mean to somebody that has the C Star? It's a great product. It is a great product. The only way that you people out there, the consumers, the people that are listening to this, are going to trust us in anything we say is if we're honest about everybody else's stuff that we talk about, and if we're honest about the stuff that we come out with that is not up to snuff, like the Hack 125 stupid version.
Well, and especially in this industry too, because all of our consumers are pretty bright, intelligent people. So
yeah, and if we're blowing smoke, they're going to figure it out pretty soon.
Yeah.
So, I haven't really met. There's a couple individuals that, it's like it sometimes personalities just aren't going to mesh. But in general, I'm going to say 99.9% of all of the people that we know in the industry are decent people doing fair work with fair products. And
there's a lot of people in here who really, really care about the hobby.
Yeah.
So,
well, and I think especially it shows at trade shows that with our personalities and especially Kevin's know-how and his he's just friends with everyone in the industry. We, I think, really bring the cool kid table energy to a lot of this to the industry, and a lot of people.
We're
kind of like a little.
We've all been the cool kids.
we're a little bit of a hub,
Man.
and we kind of we bring the fun energy, I think, and I mean, I got to hang out with Vic Maris a lot this last at AAS. Got to go to a couple dinners, and even just tangential folks that aren't really in the telescope hobby, but like Rachel Freed and like these people that are more educators and people that work at observatories that wind up at these shows. And it's a really cool industry, and I think we occupy a really cool space in it.
I would. This jumps back to, do you have fun in astronomy and things? One of the other things about being in this job, you're talking about Rachel and some of the other people that are tangentially, we get to talk to a lot of incredibly smart people.
I don't know about you, Jared, but when we walked into AAS, it's like, I am the lowest IQ in this room.
Yeah.
But being able to talk to people with that kind of intelligence just forces us to at least pretend to be smarter than we actually are.
Yeah.
And the amount that we learn, it's great. I'm not going to try to hide it. It's absolutely phenomenal. It's a great job. Somebody in here said that working in astronomy was the best job I ever had. I get it. I absolutely do.
And if
So,
you call us up and you're unhappy with something, I get it. But if you play well, I'm just going to go to Stellar View then. Okay, tell Vic we say hi. I'm just going to go to Astrophysics then. Okay, tell Karen we say hi. Well, I'm just going to go to Takahashi. Okay, tell Chris Montemero we say hi. Like, it's just going to keep going. We're all friends. They'll all take care of you. If you're here with SkyWatcher, great. We're glad to have you part of the family. If you grow out and you're going off to college and you're getting your brand new AP Starfire, congratulations, you've done it. It's a good group of people you're taking care of no matter pretty much any company you go to.
and I'm going to take this opportunity to segue as we're talking about smart people. For the last year, we have been partnering with Mensa. SkyWatcher is the smart choice in telescopes. We're the smart choice for Mensa. We are continuing that partnership with them into 2026. Part of that partnership is if you've ever thought that you are smart enough to be in Mensa, but didn't want to take the test because you didn't want to spend the whatever it was, $20, $50 to take the preliminary test. You can take the preliminary test for free online. Go to I think it's americamensa.com. Something like Jared, can you look it up and put the link?
Yeah.
Go to the test, put in the code, which I believe is SkyWatch25. Anybody remember? It was on the. Anyway, if you want to do it and you want to know what the code is, email us at info and we'll send it to you. If it's not SkyWatch25, but that's something that I'm looking to expand in 2026. We did some. Okay, it's in the chat. We did some things with them. I want to show up at more Mensa regional gatherings and events and do some outreach there. Show up at some of their shows, have them show up at our shows. I'm going to be talking to them about having some people on during the special guest Fridays for the webcast and talk about that. The overlap in demographic between Mensa and the astronomy demographic, it's like a 95% overlap. So we're definitely all part of the same crowd. So I will be doing more with that. And you, people out there, if you have other organizations that you think that we should be partnering with that would be a benefit to both them and to us and to astronomy in general, let us know. Because we like hanging out with other people if we haven't already made that very clear.
Looks like the code is SkyWatcher25. I'll put that in the chat as well.
SkyWatcher 25 or SkyWatch 25?
SkyWatcher looks like it's all one word. It's very blurry because I had to zoom way in.
Okay. No, okay.
It was really.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say it was really funny. I was telling my girlfriend about, AAS and everything, and then I'd seen something different on Star Talk webcast with Neil deGrasse Tyson, and they were talking about if you take a stick and you can find basically the balance point in it because just by moving your hands together because the friction is over here is lighter and blah blah blah. It's this very simple like science trick. And I'm showing it to her with a broom, and she's like, "Is this what you guys were doing at AAS?" It's like, no, they were doing like real science there. Actually, we were talking about like LIGO and black holes and stuff like that.
Well, it's like that meme, Jared, where it's guy and girl are in bed, and she's like, "I bet he's thinking about other women," and then his bubble is just like, "I wonder if I could find the balance point of this stick."
Yeah,
so
basically.
To be fair, though, some of the things that we have done in the past is like shove a bunch of model rocket stuff up the butt of an OTA and see what it looks like when you launch it into the sky. So
we made a video.
We gotta do that one again.
We do need to do that one again. That was fun. It is 11:05.
Yep, that's our hour. Couple real quick ones. SkyWatcher ASI Air. Hopefully in the future we'll see. SkyWatcher automatic polar alignment. Really cool idea. Any fluorite scopes? No, fluorite's really difficult to work with and expensive.
Really expensive.
Brittle. Yeah. It'd be cool. I love fluorite doublets, but we're mostly in the FPL 53, Hoya FCD 100 stuff. So, But that's pretty much it, guys. So thanks all for watching. Thanks for Jeff and Jared for joining us. That is our State of SkyWatch for 2025. If you have any questions, you can always email us at support@skywatchusa.com. If you have some thoughts on things, info@skywatchusa.com. Hope you have a good weekend. Clear skies, and I think it's New Moon weekend actually too. So if you're going out dark, there you go. So we'll see you guys next week for another What's Up webcast episode. So have a good weekend.
You guys at NEAP? Absolutely. Oh, see you guys at NEAP. Yes.
Oh, yes.
Bye,
See you there. All right, guys. See you later. Have a good weekend. Clear skies, and see you next Friday. Bye.